Getting two for the price of one round about this time, because I know my colleague Lisa Ryan, Reverend Lisa Ryan, sorry, was just on. So anyway, here's the reading for January the 10th. But first of all, here is the thought for the day, and it's actually from Aristotle, going back, they say, almost 2,500 years. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. That was Aristotle. And this is Rev Margaret Stortz, who says, "It is enough." And of course, the Emerson Essays quote is on page 33, which says, "Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string." Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to that iron string. So in other words, if we don't trust ourselves, then it's going to be really difficult getting anywhere in life, really. We have to, first of all, trust ourselves, right? Or as Emerson said, trust thyself. I wonder why the second person singular thy fell out of use. Thee, thy, thou, and so on. But, well, it did, didn't it? Except for certain communities, I guess. And Ernest Holmes in The Science of Mind, the basic textbook that we use on page 271, said, "There is a law of unfoldment in humans that says we can advance only by going from where we are to the place we would like to be." And that is common sense, right? You can only get to somewhere from where you are now. And that applies to mind as well as it does to distance, right? Physical distance. And I'm going to change our wording here a little bit, because I know I've got people in the audience who are not exactly New Thoughts or Science of Mind. When we accept that the mind that we use is the mind of God, then with this acceptance come immense possibilities and certain responsibilities as well. The infinite mind has great power that we can use for good or for ill. So it becomes something of a charge to us to be wise and loving in our creativity. And it's also wise to remember that in our finitude, we're finite beings, right? We cannot fully encompass the infinite mind. So a little bit more about this in a second. At the moment, then, it's enough to know what we know and also what we don't know. If we had the full breadth and fortitude of the infinite, we would, of course, know more and we would do more. Well, we would know all, right? And we could do anything pretty well that doesn't defy the laws, spiritual or physical laws. So right where we are right now is enough. Not for long, perhaps, but for the moment. More about this in a second. We use the power of prayer to expand our closeness to God. We open ourselves to study, meditation, and contemplation, and so on, to push past the boundaries of our ignorance into greater insights and inspirations. She says this would be natural for a student of spirituality who knows not to be upset at the appearance of some limitation. She says, so what? It's merely something to be healed or transcended so that we may advance in greater love and understanding. It is self-love and self-kindness to find a certain enoughness. Enoughness what? Enoughness with where we are right now and easily move forward into another arena of spiritual experience. Tomorrow is another day. So in other words, I'm assuming that everybody who reads this, listens to this, is on some kind of spiritual journey, right? And we're all at a different part of that spiritual journey, both individually and collectively. So what she's saying here is that we do what we can do from where we are now with the available knowledge and ability that we have right now. And as we advance in spiritual knowledge and spiritual understanding, we can know more and do more. So I shouldn't expect, and you shouldn't expect, none of us should expect to be at the level of some really advanced spiritual being. For instance, I'm assuming here the Dalai Lama will be one. Jesus, Muhammad, the Buddha, you name it, spiritual leaders from times past and times present, right? So we are where we are, and it's our job to move forward from that point. And her affirmation backs this up. She says, I'm content with my spiritual awareness, and I continue to be curious about what lies ahead. In other words, I don't get frustrated because I'm not at a better position on my journey than somebody else. And that could apply to anything, really. I mean, when I was at college studying, the professors, by and large, knew more than I did. They knew more about soil mechanics and, fluid mechanics, hydraulics, and all the other stuff, mathematics that we were studying. And it can seem frustrating at times. But the whole point is, once we accept the fact that we're on this journey, and we accept the fact that it's a journey that continues, and that we will just keep progressing, and we accept that as okay, then we will be much freer in our minds as to what to do. So that's my stuff for today. I know Reverend Lisa was late today. She said a lot of stuff got in the way. Tomorrow, I'm assuming she'll be on at 9:15 because she has to be at Creative Life Spiritual Center tomorrow at, well, just before 11, so that we can start the service at 11. So I really don't have a whole lot to say, except today's been interesting. Today's been cooler than yesterday. It rained during, well, somewhere around about midnight. It was raining quite a bit because I heard it. I was in bed, but I heard it. And it's good. We needed the rain. So I'm just knowing for each and every person here that they accept where they are on their own spiritual journey. And I claim this as truth. And I claim this as wonderful. And I let this go into the divine mind with gratitude and say, it is done, and so it is. Namaste.